This is how to play Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin. This riff and whole song is based on a 12-bar blues in the key of A using this riff. It is a variation on that well-known, well-used rock riff. If you haven't learnt that yet, please check out this video on YouTube. It will show you exactly how to play that riff if you're a beginner and you've never come across it before. And then you can come back to this video with a bit more experience of changing between the A to the D and back to the A and also E as well. This riff is just a variation on that, and once you have the riff, it's just the structure of the song, which is pretty straightforward. So the riff begins. That's the riff that we need to learn, okay? Now, I'm going to show it you with my fingers like this so you can see really clearly which strings I'm playing, but it can really help to have your thumb sitting on the top when we're playing this riff in A and having your fingers on this angle. There are plenty of examples of Jimmy Page playing it this fashion all the time, and it really helps, especially with quite a slim neck, which you get on Les Pauls. We're starting off on an A power chord, and we're going to play the middle finger after that, but we're going to really bend it down quite far. Now, if you have, gauge 10 strings, which most of you will, that's going to take an awful lot of effort to do if you're not used to doing it. Okay, but you really want to get it down there. It wants to sound like the pitch of the next note. Okay, we'll get it right down. Third note is the power chord again. And then we have the little finger needs to... Oh, you could do this with your third finger if you're on that angle, but I would use my little finger. 5. Then this time just to the open A string on its own. And then to 4th fret and the 2 together. So far we have 1, 2 is the bend, 3, the 2 together again, 5th fret, just the A on its own, 4th fret, final bend of the riff, and then to the A power chord. Great riff. I'll show you over here so you can see both hands together in a close-up. Okay, now he then fills in the rest of the bar just with the A power chord, briefly using that second note which is in the riff. In the riff that I mentioned earlier, the 12-bar blues riff. I'm going to show you how to skip up, and play the little lead part separate to that, and you can skip ahead if you want to see that bit. The link is in the description, just the different chapter points in this particular video, just the different time points. But if you were just sticking this to this part of the neck, we would go... Okay, so the timing of this, we actually start on the offbeat of 1, importantly. So 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So it was after we played the riff, we just fill in with the A power chord until beat 4. When you hit that third finger down at 4th fret and then immediately come back to the A power chord. Let me show you one more time. You stay on the A power chord after the riff. Third finger goes down on beat 4 of that second bar. So missing beat 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... One more time. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... You can see I'm trying to show you this really clearly, but without that thumb on top, especially when I'm picking in this bit of the neck, it can ring out. So I really recommend keeping the thumb on top for that one. So that would happen twice. Weird intro with the drums, obviously. It's weird timing. Amazing intro with the drums, I should say. But it is strange timing. So I've always found it best just to listen to it, memorize it, and then come in where you know it happens. It's after that last 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. I think it might be 5 hits, but there's that last snare here. Da 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 da. Okay, and then it hits in. But essentially that happens twice. And then we do the exact same thing on the D power chord, starting on the D power chord. So it's the same thing, but a string down. Again, missing beat 1. Hell of a bend down. If it's too tricky to keep your first finger here because of the stretch, you can move over. You don't need to keep your first finger there all the time. But if you want to get used to these stretches, check out my number 1 finger exercise for guitar. That's also a YouTube lesson. So, and a guitar, number 1 finger stretching exercise, or finger exercise, I think is all I call it. So 2 A's, down ones to the D, back to the A, and then it happens on the E as well, finishing on the A in a pretty standard 12-bar blues pattern. While we're at this part of the neck, I'm also going to show you the verses, and then we'll get on to the little lead bit in the intro. Here we're going to cover this part. If you're not used to this technique, definitely check out my electric guitar starter course, which is up here. I'm going to have a rock rhythm course as well coming out with this kind of technique in it. But essentially it's playing the 3rd fret of the thickest E string to an A power chorus. This is like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC in one move. And we just hit that one, bend it down slightly. We don't want it, with this bend, we don't want it to go down and then back. We don't want this. When I teach people 1-to-1, that always kind of ends up happening. You want to bend it down and then not let it go until you've hit that first finger, and you kind of let it go at the same time. So you don't hear the note going back to where it started. What you hear is the note going higher. Up to the A power chord, and that happens 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So that's for the verses. Been a long time since I rock and rolled. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Same again, been a long time since I did the stroll. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 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 then we do the exact same thing, but on a D power chord. Everything but a string down. String 5, 3rd fret, D power chord just with 1 finger. Only hitting 2 strings, middle 2 strings in fact. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and then back to the A. 2, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go a little bit higher up the fretboard. It is the standard 12-bar blues riff, more Chuck Berry style. So this is almost the same as my Caroline guitar lesson, the Status Quo song, Caroline. Only this time we're at 7th fret of the A string, so 7th fret, string 5, 3rd finger, 9th fret, string 4, and then it's the little finger that stretches to play 4th string at 11th fret in a pattern of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Again, if you're thinking, oh, that pattern sounds really cool, but I can't do any of these stretches, check out that video where we learn the same riff in the easier positions before you go for... Before you go for this one. So it's just one bar of that, picking just string 4 and 5. And then a D power chord at 5th fret. Lonely, 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 lonely. And we're back to. That one more time. Lonely, 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 lonely time. And in the, I believe it's the How the West Was Won DVD recording after that part. Lonely, lonely, lonely. I always loved that little riff, and that would be open 2 on the thickest string. Open 3, open 2. Open 2, open 3, open 2. And then your riff. Yeah, let's learn how to play the lead part. How bluesy does that sound? It's so cool. This is playing with your first 2 fingers. You want to hit 12th fret of the 3rd string, and then 11th fret of the 4th string, and we're essentially playing an A7 kind of triad. But the root note, you can keep playing that, especially if you're going between the 2. Just keep playing that open A string. So that's why I would play just with my first 2 fingers, okay? And it's 1, 2, 3. Okay. And if we were doing them together, you'd play the riff. Slide up. First finger stays on the same string when you do it this way. 1, 2, 3. Definitely want some fast fret on your strings to make sure you can slide up and down. And after that 1, 2, 3, the second time it happens, 1, 2, 3, you just move down by 1 fret. 1, 2, 3. And then you do the same thing the opposite way on the 3rd time. So from the top, da dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3. Da dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3. Da dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3. Da dun 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 dun. And for the last one, 1, 2, 3. You move up by 1 fret. That's it. Da dun 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 dun. And when I'm sliding up, to do that, the way I do it in the easiest fashion to be able to get from one to the other is the first finger always travels along the same string, and then I move up until I've got my eye on the double dot at 12th fret until my middle finger gets to there. First fret's one underneath it, and that's how I can find it much easier. That's what I'm looking for. And as I say, just a recap through each of those. From the top, In 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, dun 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 dun. That is how to play all the rhythm sections and a couple of lead lines from Led Zeppelin's Rock and Roll. If you want the solos, let me know in the comments below.